Put it in. We're drinking summer shandy on Thursday. We so motherfucking out here, though. We never been this out here. Woo! What you know about Leonard Skinner? The whacker the intro, the hotter the verse every time, baby. Well, I've been working like a working man do. Got my act together, gonna walk all over you. Pressure pushing down on me, pushing down on you. Shit, let's raise the roof. Woo! About time, it's the era of the rebels. Cloud nine in the air up in the vessels. Generation fearless, got a taste for weirdness. Flow on fire, that's the way my beard is. Hard times, jump starting the grind. It's all good, y'all. Things fall apart sometimes. Let it go, let me know when you're ready, though. Don't push me, cuz until the edge I'm close. When the time comes, ride for something. Or live to be 90 and then just die for nothing. Speak their heart, your baby, speak their mind. And I'ma play their part, and I'ma freak that rhyme one time for you. Rhyme one time for you. I'm an island, man. There ain't nothing else by me, man.
Welcome to the Miserable Retail Slave Show. We're coming to you from the Pod Shack outside beautiful Flint, Michigan, USA. My name is Randy, and with me is that guy.
Hey, I'm Tommy.
Oh my God, you have a name and everything. How cute.
Gave it to myself.
You gave it to yourself. You dubbed yourself Tommy. That's weird. You should have gave yourself a cooler name like Spartacus.
Yeah, I ain't worthy of that name.
No, I agree with that for sure. I probably would have called myself Maximus, you know?
Oh my God, nobody would call you that though. You're definitely a Max.
Yuck. How dare you throw that slur my way?
Yeah, you look like a Max. Yeah. You look like a Randy though too, so that's good.
Yeah, I am always horny. That's right. Today, it's the history of unimportant things, the hut, if you will, presented by Miserable Retail Slave. This is our second installment. The first time we looked into the origins of the Karen meme.
Yes, I thought that was going to be painfully long and boring, but it was actually very awesome. So go back and look at that. What was the name of that episode?
I think it was called The Origin of the Karen Meme, in fact.
Oh, wow. So creative of you.
Well, I mean, you got to be sometimes descriptive, huh?
Yeah. So, yeah, if you haven't yet, is that a Patreon or is that a regular one?
It's like episode 272 or something.
Okay. Yeah, go and listen to that because it's funny because I've told a couple people about that episode in person, and they've all said the same thing. Like, like they give me a weird look, and I'm like, I know, I thought it was going to be terrible too, but listen. Then they're like, oh wow, that is actually really interesting. I'm like, it is. Because it's played out like the Bernie memes almost, but there's a good history, and there's a lot of scholarly history behind the Karen meme. So interesting.
There is indeed behind every stupid thing. There is a deep and dark history. And that's what the hut is all about. You're welcome, all the people. This week, the topic was going to be beer mascots, like all the various mascots in the history of the advertising world to do with the beers that we all love so much. However, when I started in, I realized right off the bat that, that's a broad topic because my first subject, Mr. Spuds Mackenzie, had a lot going for him, so that will be it. Today's episode, The Hut, is Spuds Mackenzie. Do you remember Spuds Mackenzie, Tommy?
I do remember Spuds Mackenzie. Spud Mackenzie is like the king of all beer mascots.
I would agree with that, yes.
When I was a child, my dad, my parents, they owned a 1955 Chevrolet Bel Air Nomad station wagon hot rod. and it was a very cool car. My dad just sold it a couple years ago. We always thought he never would, but he did. And got it more into motorcycles and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, he had the Nomad for 30-some years. And throughout the 80s and maybe even into the early 90s, my dad always had the back window propped open on the Nomad at all times, never shut. One of those flip-up windows as wide as the back of the car. And sticking his head out the back window was the glorious Spuds Mackenzie, and it was life size. It was probably actually bigger than the real Spuds Mackenzie. It was probably it was probably 3 feet off the ground, and a foot and a half wide, and it was huge and it was hard. It was almost like a super hard styrofoam with a layer of fur over it, or like cotton. I guess it was cotton. And my dad always put a Hawaiian shirt on him, and
that's what the Spuds needed to wear.
Yeah, and he was always hanging out the back of the Nomad, so I kind of grew up with Spuds Mackenzie there.
Yeah, I've been obsessed recently. I sent you this picture, but I've been obsessed with getting an old school Bud Light light up Spuds Mackenzie bar statue. They look so amazing. I think Justin from the Epic Film Guys actually got one a few weeks ago or a few months ago at this point. Who knows? Time flies when you're in a pandemic.
It does.
But I'm super jealous of it because it looks amazing. And I remember Spuds Mackenzie. Obviously, I wasn't drinking beer when I was 5 years old. Or was I?
Yeah, right.
Actually, now that I think about it, I think the first beer I ever drank was a Bud Light. And Spuds Mackenzie was a Bud Light mascot. And
Budweiser, wasn't it? Or was it specifically Bud Light?
I thought it was Bud Light, but...
Yeah, because the first beer I ever drank was Budweiser with Abe Falcon. We stole one from his dad's fridge.
Now that I think about it, I think it was a Budweiser because I'm not sure Bud Light existed in the 80s.
Wow, you started drinking real young.
Yeah, that's right. I was 5 years old. I was on the golf course. I was in a golf cart. I had a Pepsi Cola that I was reaching for, and instead I grabbed my dad's beer and took a big old swig and promptly did the world's biggest spit take. So...
Dude... I couldn't imagine. Yeah. I mean, I remember the first time I took a drink of beer, and I thought it was the worst thing in the world. I'm like, what movie is it? Where it's like the beer's gone bad.
Oh, I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? It's some comedy, and somebody drinks beer for the first time. And they're like, oh, the beer's gone bad. But the joke is that's just how beer tastes, right?
Yeah.
And I just remember drinking it, and I thought, there's no way I'll ever drink one of these. This is the worst fucking taste I've ever tasted in my life. And now it's there's not a drink that comes even into a close second of how much I've consumed.
Yeah, beer is a pain that you inflict on yourself, isn't it? Nobody likes it when they first have it, but you're still like, give me more.
I love it now. I mean, I think I'm going to do, I should probably put this out there. I think I haven't decided, but I might do dry February.
Oh.
I might. I don't know. I really need to, nothing really bad happened this weekend. I just drank Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but I didn't get wasted or anything, but I haven't drank 4 days in a row in a long time, a couple years at least. And I was just like, you know what, this is stupid. I'm drinking for no reason. I mean, I only had a couple beers each night, really. But I think I got drunk one night. But I was like, this is stupid. Why am I drinking on a Sunday? I had 3 beers or something. I'm like, yeah, this is dumb.
By the way, I take it back already. He was the mascot for Bud Light. So
was he really? Okay.
I was right the first time, and you convinced me out of it.
I figured it had to have been Budweiser because it was the 80s, right? I didn't. We talked about. Didn't think. Bud Light. He must have been right when Bud Light became a thing.
I would guess so. I don't know. I don't have the history of Bud Light on my.
That would be the history of important things.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. This is the history of unimportant things. If you don't know who Bud Light, Jesus Christ. If you don't know who Spuds Mackenzie was, he was a dog. He was a bull terrier, a white one, with a distinctive black spot around one of his eyes. And he was a party dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I definitely know that the stuffed animal that me and my dad had, or my family had, was definitely it was more like the size of a big lab.
Yeah. Spuds Mackenzie began his commercial career in the year of 1983 on Bud Light posters designed by DDB Needham Ad Agency in Chicago, and was thought up by a 23-year-old named John Moore, who I would hope is very rich and is constantly at the bar saying, like, I came up with that Spuds Mackenzie. And people were like, who? What?
That was me.
I did that.
Hey, lady, ever hear of Spuds?
Yeah. Spuds Mackenzie, quickly became a cult figure on college campuses.
What bet?
Yeah. Appearing on posters, sitting behind a goblet of Bud Light while wearing a Delta, Omicron, Gamma fraternity sweatshirt.
Oh, nice. I did not know he was a frat pup.
He was a frat pup. Well, kind of, because the slogan at the bottom of the poster was Dean of Partyology. You ever been a Dean of Partyology?
I mean, I think so. I mean, nobody ever wants to put me in charge, but sometimes it just takes over.
I mean, I watched you do a keg stand before. I feel like that counts.
That was if I remember, that keg stand was pretty epic.
It was pretty epic. I was the one holding your fat ass up because no one else could do it. And
I wasn't even fat then. I was like 170.
Well, people were struggling. So there I was holding you up, and you had to beat the certain time, and you sat there for like 2 more minutes after that.
Was this at the zombie party, or where was it?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I did it. Me and my buddies Abe Falcon and my buddy Josh and Keith, who you know all these guys. We went down. Keith was at Western Michigan. I had just left Western that December, and we went back that next November. And we had a big party at the house that Keith was renting. And me and this guy, he was like 6'7" and like 300 pounds. His name is Jeremiah. We went back and forth at keg stands, and I think he ended up edging me out. But our times were like 50 seconds, 54 seconds, and we did like 8 of them in a row. It was ridiculous.
The contest of the champions.
Yeah, I think he ended up edging me out. I really do. But it was pretty. Everybody was really impressed.
Wow.
Look at those dumb idiots.
I wish I was a dean of partyology.
I mean, like, I don't know, because then you'd have to be kind of proper, right? I mean, I guess Spuds wasn't. I don't know.
I mean, what's cooler than being cool? Spuds Mackenzie. That's what.
That's right. Yeah, my dad had these big sunglasses he put on him, too. I just remember that.
Spuds made his debut in a Bud Light beer commercial during the Super Bowl in 1987. His official title, yeah, that's right. He
jumped 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, I remember him mainly from posters, vaguely from commercials.
Yeah.
His official title with the company was Senior Party Consultant for the Anheuser-Busch Company.
That's amazing,
isn't it? Though, the original spot features a spot where Spuds shows up at a party. Everyone's so stoked to see him, especially the ladies. Hey, girls, hey. And Robin Leach, who was he was a famous dude at the time. He voiced over a program that I don't know if you remember or not. It was called Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
I remember the Good Charlotte song. So
close enough, yeah. Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous was basically it was Cribs before Cribs was on MTV. It was on network television when it was focused on super rich people and that whoever had a top 10 hit that day.
So it's like that 1985 song.
Yes. Closer to that. Yes.
Are you rolling dice? What is that?
Yeah, I'm gambling right now. I've got Spuds Mackenzie right beside me. He's influencing my vices at the moment, and I'm going for it.
Yeah.
Black 5, that's my number. I don't know what that means, actually.
I don't either.
The LA Times, in an article titled Spuds Mackenzie, an underdog's triumph. The original party animal has become the nation's most unlikely sex symbol. That's the full title of the LA Times. Yes.
What?
Yeah.
So, little act of bestiality with Spuds.
Yeah, that's right. They described Spuds as a canine cross between Bruce Willis and John Belushi.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right? The nation's latest unlikely sex symbol is a sorry-looking creature with a football-shaped head, triangular eyes, and a huge black splotch on his face. Lassie, he's not. Wow. Somebody's jealous.
For real. What the hell, people? I don't know how they let this guy talk about Spuds like that.
You ever been jealous of a dog, Tommy?
Yeah. I mean, my dog Tootsie was my best friend, man. Frisbee champion.
Oh, man. Beat you in Frisbee and you hold a grudge forever. I get it.
Nah, not jealous. Just, I don't know. Just in awe of, I guess.
The article goes on. Since the original commercial aired, Spuds' popularity has soared nationally and spawned a growth industry of T-shirts and other Spuds paraphernalia. Posters of the Ayatollah, partyollah.
Now that's what's that a reference to? Rocky?
I don't know, but it's amazing.
No, it's a reference to some 80s pop culture. It's,
Probably.
God, I know it is. It's
maybe that's the 80s. Maybe that's the 80s pop culture with which all references are based on. You ever consider that?
Maybe, but I don't. It was Ayatollah Rockarola or something. It was a wrestler, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, Chris Jericho used to say that.
There we go. Okay. But that would be Chris Jericho would be after.
Well, after Spuds Mackenzie. Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think there was something there, like in the late 70s, early 80s, that they're both ripping off of.
Possibly.
Or paying homage to, I guess I should say.
I'm going to call myself the Ayatollah Partyollah. Because that's what a 39-year-old white dude needs to call himself.
Absolutely.
Posters of the Ayatollah Partyollah, in which he often appears surrounded by beautiful young women, are now the best-selling pinups in the country.
Like nowadays or back in 1987?
Back in 1987, yes.
Oh, okay.
Elsewhere, Spuds look-alike contests are popular, with both dogs and humans as contestants. Wow.
Do I look like... How would you want to look like Spuds as a human?
That's a whole furry culture I don't even want to dive into at this point.
Can you imagine like somebody seeing that and being like, Mark, you should sign up?
Yeah, you look like Spuds. You got that big black splotch over your eye.
Your eyes are really far apart and they're misshaped. You should.
Yeah. You got a football-shaped head, Mark.
Like Stewie.
Well, I'm the Ayatollah Partyollah, so I should.
There you go.
A number of professional Spuds imposters, Spudstitutes, as the Budweiser team prefers to call them.
Nice.
Yes. Have secured modeling gigs. One recently appeared on the cover of Detroit Monthly Magazine's Dog Days of Summer issue. Oh, remember magazines, Tommy? Remember how there was a magazine for everything?
Yes, I miss magazines.
I miss them so.
Mm-hmm.
People are really simple creatures, though, aren't they? They were so enamored with the Spuds. I mean, who am I to talk? I still am, so.
There wasn't much.
No, there wasn't. I mean, the 80s...
This is like the same year that Nintendo came out.
This is true, yeah. And, yeah, like the 80s icons, you look at them, and they're all weird. Like Super Mario, Freddy Krueger, who, by the way, is a child molesting serial killer. Somehow, though, he became a pop culture icon. We have Hulk Hogan, who has a skullet, and somehow he's the hottest thing ever. Mr. T, who pities fools, he's a big deal. Alf, which I don't even need to explain Alf.
I loved Alf.
Michael Jackson.
Willie.
Michael Jackson. Oh, so many creatures in the 80s. I tell you. The Anheuser-Busch marketing team would go to extremes to perpetuate the Spuds Mackenzie myth. Bill Stolberg, whose name will pop up a lot in this podcast, he was the main handler of Spuds Mackenzie. He was like Spuds' hype man in charge of the PR.
Like the Caesar of Spuds?
Yes. Bill Stolberg said we'd put him in limos and rent him his own hotel rooms. He would be dressed in a tuxedo and walk through the airport with the Spudettes. The Spudettes were the beautiful models that would appear in commercials with Spuds. People would see him, and that's how it would grow, the myth of Spuds.
Well, he wasn't a myth. He was a real dog. Why do they keep calling him a myth? Give him his credit.
Give him his credit. He was living a life in limos and hotel rooms.
Could you imagine that dog just being like, fuck, can I just lay here for a while? Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I just want to eat and sleep and shit. Give me a break, guys. Bill Stolberg, in an interview with Mental Floss, the website, said the key to the Spuds Mackenzie campaign's success was the fact that they never acknowledged that Spuds was a dog. They would insist he was a man.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. That's great. Yeah. That's good marketing. They should bring him back. There should be a Spuds resurgence.
I agree. Bill Stolberg said the first question we would always get would be, what kind of dog is Spuds? To which I would reply, he's not a dog. He's an executive.
That's great.
Bill Stolberg also attributed Mr. Mackenzie's popularity to those good looks and that square jaw.
That's awesome. Yeah, there needs to be like, let's see, Spuds, he was probably, 21, 28 in dog years? 1987?
Maybe so, yes.
He was born in 1970, so this has got to be like Spuds Jr.
No, born in 1982, actually.
Oh, wow, so our age. Okay, so he's our age. Then we'll call it Spuds Jr., right? We could have a kid around the age of 21 right now, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so that's what we need to do. We need to get a hold of old Stolberg there.
Yeah. And
they're really missing a marketing thing that I think a whole new generation would jump on. Oh,
for sure. If you had anything like Spuds Mackenzie these days, people would be so all about it.
Mm-hmm.
John Doge, a creative director from the New York ad agency, said that Spuds seems to have gone to the heart of America. It shows you how desperate people are for advertising that has some whimsy about it. Most of the dogs and cats in commercials come from the same breeding factories. They're all perfect. But Spuds' appeal, he theorized, is that he looks like a real dog. Quote, he looks like a dog who's known lady dogs. He's a scrubber. You know, he spent his childhood in pool halls. This is a grown man and a professional saying this in 1987.
Oh my God, this is hilarious. This is like, it's funny because this is right around the time that Toonses would have been popular as well. Do you remember Toonses?
Toonses? What is that? It sounds familiar.
Toonses is the driving cat on Saturday Night Live that always drove off the cliff.
Yeah. I do remember that, yeah.
So it's funny that it's right around. It must have been a thing with dogs and cats in 1987.
Yeah, because I think it was around the time that there was Morris the cat that peddled cat food or something. It was a ginger. Yeah. It was a ginger like Garfield looking cat.
Oh, and then sit boo boo sit.
Yeah.
Jeez, oh Pete's. Yeah, the late 80s were all about animal marketing, huh?
I mean, what's better than an animal, though?
That's right. That's why I can't believe they're not. And what are these people thinking? They need to bring it back.
They do need to bring it back.
There's no cat that's like the symbol for SpaghettiOs or anything, but there should be.
I mean, are SpaghettiOs even a thing anymore?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love SpaghettiOs. You don't eat SpaghettiOs?
I used to eat SpaghettiOs when I was a kid, and every year for the past 15 years, I have always said, man, I should try SpaghettiOs just to see if they hold up. And I have never I've never manned up and did it.
Well, they're not. I mean, they're not the greatest thing.
No, I know. I'm prepared to accept the fact that they're not the best thing ever.
They're not bad. I mean, I'll take Kraft mac and cheese over them, but they're not bad.
The origin story of Spuds Mackenzie is that Spuds was born in 1982 in Woodstock at the Honeydree Kennels and sold to Stan and Jackie Oles of North Riverside, Illinois.
Is this real, though? Is this like the real dog that Spuds was based off of?
This is true, yes.
Okay.
The Chicago Tribune caught up to the owners of Spuds, who were considered to be an elusive mystery for a while.
Okay.
And the family of Spuds kind of didn't want to talk to the reporter in the article, so they went to the neighbors instead. And one of the neighbors said, "The family doesn't talk too much. Limousines come by for the dog, and they bring it out in a cage, but it doesn't do anything spectacular. It just sits there."
What is this supposed to drive away in the limo?
Right. Another neighbor said, "They used to have a big statue of the dog in the yard. They just took it down. I understand someone broke the ears off."
I like how the neighbors, like, it was kind of just like a regular dog.
It was like a dog. I can't understand it.
I don't get the hoopla. It doesn't do anything.
Bill Stolberg, whose name we already mentioned, he spun it, though. He said he's not a dog. He is an executive. He is a senior party consultant for Bud Light. Jackie Oles is just a member of his staff.
That's awesome.
He continued, "He is the guru of good times, the granddaddy of get down, the grand poobah of partyometry."
Oh, this is awesome.
This fucking guy. Yeah. The guru of good times, the granddaddy of get down. How can I get myself a nickname like that? The granddaddy of get down.
Jeez, oh, Pete. Is there a sad ending to Spuds? He had to have, he was born in 82. Did he last into the 90s?
He did last into the 90s, yeah. But his career did not.
He fizzled out, huh?
Well, as Spuds grew in popularity, so did the beer. According to the New York Times, Spuds helped increase Bud Light sales by 20% between 1987 and 1988.
And then he got sober on him.
Right? Business journalists began contacting Stolberg for insight on the advertising campaign and its star dog. But Stolberg would not break character. He would insist that Spuds was a human man, a senior party consultant to be specific, and that he was so cool he didn't have to speak verbally. Stolberg said years later it would drive them crazy.
That's awesome.
I know, I love it because he's just trolling everybody.
Yeah, it's like the Andy Kaufman of dogs.
Yeah, yep. Of course, because of Spuds' popularity, there became a big want and need for bull terriers. So where before they cost between $450 and $650, the price skyrocketed to $1,000 or so.
Dang.
Because everybody wanted a Spuds. And
Hell yeah.
I'm sure they thought they were going to, capitalize on it.
Yeah, get the granddaddy of get down.
The guru of good times.
That's awesome. So when did Spuds pass away?
Well, before he passed away, there was a bunch of death rumors.
That's gotta be bad. Hearing about your own death and just barking, being like, "I'm still here.
I'm still here, guys. I'm still standing, better than I've ever been." Stolberg was in St. Louis when he heard the rumor that from a New York radio station that Spuds had died. And guy called him and said, "Tell me it isn't so." I said, "What isn't so?" "That Spuds died in a limo crash."
Is that really how he died?
No, it was a rumor.
Oh, Oh, shit.
People in the South heard that Spuds died in a plane crash like Richie Valens.
I felt for both of them.
Yeah, in L.A., people thought that he was electrocuted in a hot tub or drowned while strapped to a surfboard during filming a commercial.
Any of these could be so real.
Right? In the Midwest, it was rumored that he was killed by the Anheuser-Busch Clydesdales in a freak accident.
Jeez, oh Pete.
I mean,
but no, he had 9 lives, huh?
I mean, this was the 80s. You could do anything. Like people actually believe the 3 men and a baby ghost was really there. So
it's true.
Yeah, you're not gonna get the granddaddy of Get Down that easily. He had his own theme song, for Christ's sake, called "Go Spuds Go." So.
I don't know why there hasn't been like a montage of like Spuds like running across the red carpet in his tuxedo, and it's just like Frank Sinatra's "My Way" playing.
Right. After his death, other vicious rumors started circulating about Spuds Mackenzie. About whether or not Spuds Mackenzie was actually a man or a girl.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Did they ever reveal?
Well, Spuds Mackenzie was a guest on Live with Dick Clark, a talk show.
Yes.
This is a real thing. And Spuds was there, accompanied, wearing a tuxedo, by the way, accompanied by a couple Spudettes. And Dick Clark asked Spuds, "There are vicious rumors. Is there any truth to the fact that he is female?" And one of the Spudettes said, "He's got 3 women around him, and I don't think we'd be following him." And Dick Clark finished the sentence saying, "He's a full-out macho guy." And men in the audience actually wooed and shouted, "Yeah." If you think this is not true, it's actually on YouTube. You can watch the whole clip. It's a real thing.
Oh, my God. And then Spud's just looking around for like a boner.
Right, exactly. Like, what the fuck is going on?
It's like, geez, oh, Pete.
Spuds Mackenzie, believe it or not, was actually a female dog.
Wow.
Named, God, whose name was Honey Tree Evil Eye.
Wow. Well, didn't she come from the Honey Tree Brewery or breeders? You said,
yeah, something like that. Her owners call her Evie for short, but they
call her Evie.
Yeah, short for Evil Eye, I guess.
How did they? What? So the owners were just like walking the dog one day, and Bill Stromberg or whatever was like, "I want that dog."
No, the advertising company saw Spuds Mackenzie at a dog show.
Oh, okay. So he was like, okay, that's where the weird name comes in. Yeah, because those dog show breeders and stuff, nothing against them, but they always give the dogs like very fancy big names. So. Yeah,
it was at a random dog show when the ad agency decided they wanted a campaign centered around a dog, and they singled out Honey Tree Evil Eye because she had a black spot around her eye, and it really made her stand out, which you can't argue with that, right?
Right.
It makes sense.
Yes.
However,
that's a very 80s thing.
However, the weird thing was Budweiser officials and Anheuser-Busch they went through great pains to conceal the fact that from the public that Spuds was actually a female. Because I don't know why. Because the 80s were weird, I guess. Whenever Spuds had to use the bathroom, they would actually... oh, my God. There was a whole team of people that would hide Spuds using the bathroom, using their big trench coats to shield Spuds from cameras when she had to pee or whatnot.
Jesus.
That's a real thing.
So, yeah, can't let the people know. Got to keep them tricked,
right? Eventually, the general public did find out that Spuds was a female, but it didn't really drain the popularity machine of Spuds Mackenzie.
Sure.
However, what did was those goddamn public interest groups and Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Yeah, I bet. And like PETA.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think PETA was a thing back there. Nobody gave a shit about animals, but...
The only thing they wanted, don't show that it's not a dude.
Yeah. It was the Joe Camel effect, though. Mothers assumed that kids would drink at the age of 5, which I did, apparently, if they saw Spuds Mackenzie and how cool Spuds was and all the bodacious babes that Spuds was always around.
We gotta bring Spuds back, and it's a big thing. I think that has kind of calmed down a bit. I mean, I'm not saying that those groups are bad. I think those are good groups, but they're not in the forefront like they were when they first came out in the late 80s and early 90s.
Not at all.
So I think Spuds has a shot of resurgence. I really do.
Spuds' career ended in 1989 under pressure from Mothers Against Drunk Driving and the fact that the final nail in the coffin was a advertising campaign in which Spuds was dressed as Santa Claus and drinking beer and whatnot. Whoops. Spuds did reappear in 2017 in a Bud Light advertisement and in one of the Super Bowl commercials that year as a ghost, helping a man named Brian reunite with his friends. I vaguely remember that, but
yeah, it seems like I've seen him pop up. Yeah, I mean, maybe in like magazines and maybe something online, and maybe I did see that commercial. I'm sure I did.
Also, little known fact, but the song Baby Got Back by Sir Mix-a-Lot was inspired by Spuds Mackenzie.
What?
Yes, in an interview with the AV Club on The Onion, Sir Mix-a-Lot said, "When I did Baby Got Back, I did it to be unpopular. Really, I did it to piss people off. You had these Spuds Mackenzie girls, little skinny chicks looking like stop signs with big hair and skinny bodies. I did it as a knee-jerk response to that kind of stuff. So it was the Spudettes in the commercials with Spuds Mackenzie that inspired Sir Mix-a-Lot to do Baby Got Back."
Spudettes were the Beckys of the Sir Mix-a-Lot world, huh?
Fuck yeah, they were. And that is the entire history of Spuds Mackenzie.
Nice.
Yeah. If you want to buy me Spuds Mackenzie merchandise, I'll gladly accept it. Send it my way. DM me for address details. This has been the Miserable Retail Slave Show / the History of Unimportant Things. If you've got a history of unimportant thing you want us to cover, get a hold of us and maybe we'll do it. Right?
Yeah.
Hit me up
Absolutely.
on Twitter at mretailslave with your very unimportant thing and we'll look into it. Anything else you got to say?
Leave us a 5-star review on the iTunes there, and if you do, I'm sure Randy will call you out as he has done in the past with other people that have left those glorious reviews for us. And join the Miserable Retail Slave group on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. I started up Twitter again at Tommy Thompson. Yeah.
I guess that's all we got.
I think so.
If you like what you heard, share this with a friend. And until next time, stay miserable. Bye.